So, hello. So, hello. I want to welcome you. We're going to do a quick live. Again, I'm keeping these lives quick because of the of the nature. Oh God, the nature of rhetoric and things that happen to people when they're being influenced by the mass media, social media. And it's not information, it's not misinformation, it's not anything, it's just opinion. And so I'm waiting for people to come on. 2 people, okay. So I'm in the meditation room. You'll hear the voice box, the chanting box. We keep that going 24/7, believe it or not. And it has incredible, beautiful power to shift energies in rooms. So Elon Musk was at the White House. He was in the Oval Office, and he had his boy X doing all the shenanigans that children do, and saying things that supposedly were influenced to him. And so before we go into that, I'm going to bring you back to children who actually remember past lives. So in the magazine, it's a very famous French magazine called Paris Match, in the 1970s, was an article of a little boy born in India, in the northern part of India, who remembered a past life as a merchant. And his parents, being that they believed in reincarnation, brought him to the village. And not only did he know his wife's name, his son's names, his daughter's names, he also knew the neighbor that owed them money. Okay, why am I saying all this? Why am I talking about children remembering past lives? Well, one of my friends, very, very dear Doc Holiday friends, told me that her brother knew French. They don't know French in that family. Trust me, that's not there. No one speaks French in that family. But her baby brother knew French before he knew English. Why am I saying all that? Why am I setting up like the stage to what I'm about to say about Elon Musk, X, and that boy that he clearly, no offense, doesn't know really how to raise. I'm just going to be straight the fuck up. Is the boy made some comments that were that everyone took on as, it must be that Elon Musk is saying all these things. And that's bullshit. I knew of a child who was about 4.5 telling people that his brother had died in a car accident. He didn't have a brother. No one died in a car accident. But all the parents thought that, the boy's mother had lost a child, and coming up to her, giving them her condolences, and she was like, condolences for what? And her son at 4.5 had told people that he had lost his brother in a car accident. It was a lie. There was never mention of car accidents. Kids say shit. And I'm amazed at people coming on who are massively influential, shame on fucking you, once again, to take, and believe me, I'm not a Trumper, I'm not an Elon Musker, I'm none of those things. I just want us to learn how to fucking think. Kids will say the darnest things. Kids will say shit that they never heard from any adult in the fucking house. Case in point, children being essayed. No one has given them that information unless they experienced it. No one influenced them unless they experienced it. Kids can't come up with details like that unless they experienced it. So there's multiple things about children that are under 8, under 7 actually. In the Vedic tradition, up until 7 years old, the child's energy, their auric field, is massively connected to their mother. In other words, they are one energy. That is why it doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl. A child, the first 5 years, you know how America is so quick to say, first 5 years is important. Okay, well, then why are you forcing women to go back to work after 6 weeks? But that, I digress. We need to understand that this kid may have heard those comments, but the kid might have also picked up on other energy, because kids that are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are incredibly connected psychically. And they are telepathic. The kids being born today don't have to worry about being witch hunted or put in the Lulu bin if they are experiencing certain things that are otherworldly. Imaginary friends, now we call them imaginary friends in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Today we know these are guides. There's no imaginary friend. These are guides helping these children go through their daily lives to integrate themselves in these new incarnations. So we need to stop saying that and stop listening. I mean, I work with kindergartners. I know that the kid went. Bullshit. I call bullshit. Because there are kids remembering past lives, and no parent, in fact, their parents don't fucking know anything about past lives. Matthias de Stefano, which is a famous spiritualist and so forth, was raised, I wouldn't say they were atheists. It wasn't that they were atheists. They didn't follow shit. And they were curious as to what Matthias de Stefano was remembering of his past lives in Atlantis, in Egypt, and on other planets. They never, dumbed him down. They never put him down. They never hushed him, shamed him, or judged him. No one taught him this shit. So when this little boy, X, is sitting, picking his nose, and shushing the president and saying shit like, you're not the president, leave the office. Who knows what he's picking up on? There's a lot of assumption that somebody he heard. No, maybe he's picking up on something else. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I want you to step away from that, because I don't want it to impact the way you see how your children and grandchildren speak about things, and you're going to think they were influenced. Well, maybe they weren't. That's the only reason why I'm doing this live. It's not to support or denigrate X in the Oval Office. It's not about that at all. It's actually about using that very famous experience, that moment in time that people are drumming their drums like they're fucking experts, when I call bullshit, because I've just illustrated pretty clearly why it's bullshit. There are kids, in fact, at the age of 2, when I was 2 years old, they knew I was psychic already. And the reason why they knew, meaning my mother and father, is because I could actually call on people that couldn't be trusted. I would call, it didn't matter what the person looked like, smelled like, dressed like, it didn't matter. I knew who was good and who could be trusted and who was not. Maybe I could see their auras, I don't know, but I certainly could smell them out. No one taught me that. And no one asked me, or no one said their opinions that influenced my hit on adults that were surrounding us. Okay? And I've had firsthand experience of remembering my own, incarnations and choosing my family, and also my brother, him remembering a past life where he died, and remembering his wife and his 2 sons. You can't make that shit up. No one's influencing shit. So when we're coming in as children, as babies, we just came from the ethers. We just came from behind the veils. We're closely connected to God, God's light, God's scent, the music, the indescribable sounds of unconditional love and wisdom. And we're in these incarnated bodies for our first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. We remember, and we can telepathically pick up on energies, and we articulate them. And that's what should be the takeaway here. Not so much anything else. Because the influencers that are saying, kids only say what they hear, that is a dangerous thing to fucking... I know they have an agenda, and the agenda isn't fair to the millions of children out here who are under the age of 8, who are going to express things to you about adults or about situations that are psychic. And they have nothing to do with Grandma Jones talking about Uncle Billy. It's just a clear channeling hit that these kids are picking up on, and there's no influences behind it. That is why I'm doing this live. It has nothing to do. I don't give a fuck about Elon or Trump, to be honest. I don't have an agenda. Okay? So this is something you need to understand, and you need to spread the word, because these little influencers, like there was this guy who I actually follow, and I thought, what an asshole. I unfollowed him because he's such an asshole. I work with little kindergartners. He's an influencer that talks about lavender weddings, if you get my drift. And he's actually funny. He's actually really, really funny. But him to say that kids don't say anything out loud unless they heard it from adults, it's a dangerous, dangerous lie. Because that's not true. That is not true at all. When kids go through the trauma of being SA'd or what have you, on that level, your average 2-3-year-old, you could say, well, that could be from past. No, it's not from past life. That memory is something that's happening in their immediate experiences. That is not the same as what I just talked about on a psychic level. Don't confuse those two things. They're not the same. And I can't get into the details of why it makes them different, because I'm trying to give you as much information that's really relevant to this concept that X was saying, you're not the president, get out, leave the room, as something that maybe Elon, it's like a divide and conquer tactic. And I know there's an agenda behind it, and I understand that. I'm not a fan of what's going on right now. Let me put it that way, okay? But that's not the point, because that is problematic. I can certainly go into the fact that, to be honest with you, that boy should be with their mother, because for the first 7 years he's connected to his mother. And I don't know what happened that he got full custody. That's something else. But you guys need to understand, these children, when they're coming out of your womb, it's not just kids that are being adopted, fostered out, whatever. If you can't fucking raise your kid correctly and make sure that your whole world centers around your kids for at least the first 7 years, don't fucking have a kid. It's not a puppy. It's not a kitten. You can't take it to the shelter, okay? And turn it in. If you can't fucking commit to this human life, then fucking get your tubes tied as a mother. I'm not kidding. The first 7 years is critical. And it goes back to the Vedic teachings that goes back 7,000 to 10,000 years, depending on who you talk to. That's ancient wisdom that fucking predates the shit most of you are following. Okay, most of you have come, and I've come out of. My Western teachings and foundations would have come out of Judeo-Christian. For some of you, it's Muslim, whatever, but it goes back to the Vedas. No matter how you slice it, that predates all of it. And that wisdom is true. And at the age of 14, girls are supposed to go back to their mothers, right? And boys are supposed to be educated and taught how to be men. Too bad we don't have a lot of men. That is a problem. But they're supposed to go back to their men to be trained. And women, and this is what's so dangerous about women, is that if you're competing with your daughter, and she's 14 and she's coming into all her beauty, because I don't care if you're ugly, when you're young, you're fucking beautiful, okay? And so you're 14, you're a girl, and your mom's competing with you for attention of other men. That is a problem. That is a problem. As mothers, you never compete with your daughters. And you better call yourself out if you are. Call yourself out. Get some help. Go get some professional help, because you can't do that to your daughters. And men, same thing. Don't compete with your boys. You should want your boys to be stronger, taller, better looking than you, smarter than you, more successful than you. If that's not your agenda in having kids, please don't have them. Fuck the money. It's expensive to have a kid. No. If you're an asshole, don't have kids. Just be honest. This is why I like the assholes going, a kid free and happy. Good. You were never going to be a good mother or a father. Good. Please don't have children. The problem with Elon, and I'm going to be straight up, it doesn't matter if you're 3-4 years old, is he's not raising his son. And raising a son is teaching them at a very young age certain protocols of behavior. If you're going to be in the upper echelon, right? There are certain protocols that people know if you come from money, or AKA you're being well raised. People can tell if you were well raised by how you eat your soup, and you will lie, and you'll go, she's a liar. There's no way. You'll laugh and go, that's stupid. No, actually it isn't. I swear to God. By the way you eat your soup. And I'll tell you what that means, because I don't want to be secretive. When you take your soup spoon, when you're well raised, you don't pull the soup spoon towards you. You pull it away from you as you drag it across the bowl, going up to the other side of you, right? Meaning it's going the opposite of you. It's cooling, so you're not blowing on it. And by the time the soup spoon goes to your mouth, it's been cooled. And based on that move, people will tell if you were well raised or not. I kid you not. There are protocols. There are things in society that signal to other people you were either raised like an animal. I'm just going to say it straight up, because I see literally people using their knives and forks like hammers. Like they don't know what the fuck to do with a knife and fork. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Like, learn how to fucking do that. Teach your kids how to do that. So if you're going to live in the echelon of that space, if that's what you're looking to do, learn how to move in that space so you don't fucking look like you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Either learn how to do it or don't. But if you're going to bring your kids, and this is my point to Elon, like, wake the fuck up. It doesn't matter how many trillions you have. You have to teach your kids how to behave in certain settings. I don't care how old they are. Well, kids will be kids. No. Kids will be kids in the park, hiking, playing with their dogs, having fun, rolling in the grass. But when you put a kid in a situation like that, kids need to then act in the appropriate manner in those circumstances. You can let them run wild in the appropriate circumstances, and then they have to learn how to, and this is, it's almost like, it's like calming your nervous system. It's like, it's learning how to behave and learning how to act in certain situations. And this is something not taught. And this is something, particularly, it's a problem in our country. Okay, that's why you'll see European kids way, way, way better well behaved in all situations. And they're allowed to be kids if they know how to be kids. Meaning they know when it is okay to go fucking hog wild, crazy, nuts. But they also, and he's not teaching the kid anything. But I think the kid was picking up on some energies. And he was just articulating what he was picking up on. And you have to understand, these kids, these new starseeds being born in these new bodies, these new hardware systems, are much more tuned and telepathically aligned than many of you understand. And as he's on the shoulders of his father, this kid is like a little antenna picking up everyone's thought. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. I have friends who have had to go take pharma to shut off the noise. And they're not crazy. Trust me, they're not crazy at all. They're telepathic. And they have never learned how to actually turn off the switch on and off button. People like me, we turn it on and off. That's why sometimes clients will text me something. I'm like, I'm not a fucking bubblegum machine. You don't put a fucking nickel in my little machine and I spit out an answer. I have to go into a state of being because I have to turn the switch on to go into my psychic realms. Does that make sense? And these kids, many of them are going to have to learn how to do what I had to learn over the years, because I was like them. I would pick up on all the shit. It was like a massive white noise. But then from that white noise, I'd pick up on certain things that were really important. And eventually you learn how to switch it on and off at will. And that's what you have to learn how to do. But I had friends, two of them, who had to lobotomize themselves through pharma. Okay, because it was driving. They couldn't do it. And you don't want to do that to kids. You definitely don't. You want to teach them how to switch on, switch off, switch on, switch off, so that they're okay. And they can tap in and tap out so that they have that skill set, and it's there to help themselves and the people they love and other people, in service to other people. So ultimately, that little scenario in the Oval Office or whatever is not unfortunate. It just shows us where we need to be culturally with how we raise our children, so that they know that what they're picking up on is not to be gaslit by you as parents. It's to be honored. Oh, you thought of that with Uncle Jimmy or Aunt Lizzie. You're picking Aunt Lizzie. You're picking up that you don't like her. That you don't like her. How does your head feel? Tell me where it feels in your body when you feel that way about this person. That's what you should be asking. But I can tell you that whatever the kid's picking up on, especially if it's coming out of left field and you're like, where the fuck did that come from? We don't even talk about that shit. Case in point, the kid at 4.5, 5 years old telling people, yeah, my brother died in a car accident. Where does that come from? At what point is this called a lie? Or at what point is this a kid picking up on a past life memory? There's a lot to ask about that question. And you might say, well, that's attention seeking. No. It's much more complex than that. It's not attention seeking. Something happened. And clearly not in your lifetime, because that's not your kid. And you didn't lose your kid in any car accident. In fact, no one in your family ever died in a car accident. Where did the kid come up with that? It could have been from class. No, because you would have found out. So what I'm saying is, we have to look at all of these things that these kids are saying and really take it personally, meaning go and ask the right question and try to figure out why your kid is saying what they're saying, instead of accusing the household of talking shit. And this is essentially what they're doing with this kid X in the White House. They're pretty much trying to divide and conquer. Don't forget, there's an agenda. There's definitely an agenda to divide and conquer, and to put Elon and Trump at opposites. And again, I'm not a fan of these two men. Don't mistake what I'm saying with what I'm saying. I am only saying that if this happens to you in your own family dynamics, ask who benefits. And ask the kid directly. And the best way to communicate with a child, the best way, is through puppets. Get yourself always have puppets on hand. Have at least 5 or 6 different puppets. Make a funny voice. Ask them serious adult questions, and you will get fucking seriously adult answers from your child. I don't know what it is about puppets. I swear, I don't know. But they fucking work like magic. Kids will say to a puppet what they'll never say to you to your face, even though you're sitting right there with your hand in the fucking glove of the puppet, making a voice, asking the question, and that kid is looking dead on at the puppet, hugging the puppet, and saying secret things to the puppet, act as if you're no longer in the room. I don't know what it is. But the ability for children to step into magic at a moment's notice is extraordinary. And it's your ally. And that's probably the best way to really get to the bottom of something pretty fast, actually. You'd be shocked. So I hope this helped. I will upload this on YouTube. Hopefully there will be no skipping and bullshit and whatever. But there might be patient. It works itself out at the end. Any questions or comments? I see, hang on. Rachel was saying, I think Elon is putting on a show. Look at me. I'm good. I'm a good dad. I'm in charge. Well, I don't know if it's a show, to be honest. I don't know if it's a show. I think it's fear. I think it's fear because of what happened to his eldest child. And his eldest child, the fact that they fucked with his eldest child like that, I am not a fan of woke. And 2 years ago, I was saying, don't mistake woke for awakened. Those are two different fucking terms with two different agendas. Awaken, we want 5D abundance for everyone. It's more of an Ubuntu philosophy. It's the new earth. It's the 5D. That's awakened. Awaken is knowing we've been manipulated by the new age system with the Blavatskys of the world and the Aleister Crowley, that pedo. But woke is bullshit. And it is bullshit because I wouldn't give my fucking 14-year-old a TITS job yet because I know her body is still growing. I know her body is still growing. I know it's still developing. I wouldn't even do a nose job on a 14-year-old girl. Do you know why? Because her nose may actually change, because the facial features, the cheekbones, the chin, all of that can change from multiple things: outside environment, exercise, the development of the face. Okay? You can be born with a button nose and have a button nose at 12, and suddenly you've got an aquiline nose, and you're like, where the fuck did that come from? None of us have that nose. None of us have that nose. How did that? And then at that point, if the kid wants to have plastic surgery. So let's go into gender surgery. What the fuck are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? So I'm not sure it's putting on a show. I think he's terrified. I think to give Melania Trump, and I really actually don't like her as a woman. I'm sorry. But I have to admire her, okay? For the fact that she kept that kid, Barron. She didn't have nannies. Okay, the way people have nannies. And what I mean by that is she was hands-on with her boy. It was her only son. It was the jewel in her eyes, and it's obvious. And I don't actually will ever, never denigrate a woman who makes her baby her priority. Never. So I have no problems with that on that end. And it's obvious that she raised her son. She raised him. Now they're denying that he was ever on the spectrum, and I know why she's doing that. But there's old tapes, and I saw them. And there's nothing wrong with being on the spectrum. I wish people would stop with this mental, neurodivergent, neurospicy brain, all these fucking words to me. We fucking all think differently. And and thank God for it, because if we were all a bunch of fucking hive mentality idiots, we'd be like in a cult, okay? The fact that we all think different, the fact that our brains map out solutions differently is fantastic. We should be celebrating that instead of the fact that people are depressed and go through what people call mental health issues. Mental health, dude, if you live in this planet and you don't have some mental health issues, then there's something wrong. You're probably a psychopath. We all have mental health issues. All of us are going through some level of depression. We've all gone through the dark night of the soul. Many of us have gone through many levels of dark night of the soul. Many of us. So it shows intelligence, and it shows, wait a minute, this shit's not for, it's there's something wrong here. Yeah, that's where change comes, when you realize there's something wrong here. It shows intelligence. There's nothing wrong with the mind. When the mind realizes, I can't do this, I'm going to collapse. Good, collapse. Break down, break through. Break down, break through. So going back to Elon and X, I think honestly, to be fair, he's like an eagle. He's like helicopter mom. Because of how they took his eldest boy, and totally turn and I don't know, hopefully it'll work out for the kid. I hope it does. I hope that his eldest daughter, I guess at this point, will thrive, because that's all we want for this new generation, to thrive. But certainly I've seen too many videos of kids who've gone through the transition who said, I wish somebody had just told me I was having a hard time because I was a teenager and hormonal issues, And it wasn't really this body. It wasn't this gender that was the problem. It was just me trying to figure out who I was. And it had nothing to do with gender, confusion. I think these operations, these concepts should be done when somebody's like in their 20s. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you disagree. And I don't give a fuck if you disagree. There's something wrong with you. I saw a woman on one of my lives saying that her son's pee-pee was caught when he was like 5 or 6, cut off. You're going to fucking remove someone's organ at something that can't ever be. You can't fucking undo that mistake. That's a beyond mistake. That's actually child abuse. You let your kid grow up fully. You save up the money for what they may need, be it gender change or college. Maybe they'll go, you know what, I'm good being a gay male. I don't need to be a woman. I actually don't want to be a woman. I like being a man. Who likes men? My body's good. I'm good with my body now, Mom. Oh, well, here's about $200,000. I saved it over the years. There you go. There's your trust fund. This was set aside so you could actually get your surgeries if you wanted to be a woman. That's where we need to think. And if you think that my way of thinking is jagged and fucked up, then F off. Because to be honest with you, I will stand by this. 100,000% I will stand by this. So Elon being a helicopter pop mom thing with his kid and doesn't want the other woman to, the mother of X, whatever her deal is, that she would say, yeah, give me a few $1 million, I'll let the kid go. And God knows what they said to her. Let's be honest. It probably wasn't easy. But a lot of women are, I don't know, a lot of women that believe what I believe in would actually lose custody of their kids right now as we speak. And you know that. That's what woke is. That's one of the things of woke. But woke and awaken is, of course I want men to marry if they want to marry each other. Of course I want men to adopt children if they want to adopt children. Of course I want women to marry and be freed and not be harassed and not fucking be in fear of their life. Of course I want transgender people to have, the ability to do what they need to do to be happy in their bodies. Of course I do. But woke is a whole different thing. And it doesn't have the same, it has a very nefarious energy. And it's up to no good. And it's not there to help, it's there to confuse and to subjugate. There, I said it. Now what? Right? I said it. So children need us to protect them. Okay? Protect them from people that have some seriously massive problems with their own gender, right? When a kid says to you, I'm not sure if I'm a boy or a girl, it's okay, sweetie. You're androgynous soul, baby. You've been a man. You've been a woman. We'll figure it out. Let's do some guided meditation. Let's see. Tell me, lay down. Let's do some guided meditation. Do some breathing, my baby. And you tell me where you feel the most angst or the most pain or the most discomfort. Show me your body. Where? And the kid will say, my knees, my ankles, my root chakra, my heart chakra. My head, Mom, my head. Where, baby? Where on your head? Over there. And then he might say third eye. She might say crown chakra. You don't know. But parents are not doing that kind of work with their kids. They're running to psychologists, psychiatrists, and plastic surgeons. What the fuck are you people doing? We're androgynous souls. We've made love to women when we were men. We've made love to women when we were women. Is it so hard to understand that if we incarnate into a body, after we may have had back-to-back, feminine incarnations, that we may not be comfortable in a masculine body? And it could be something that must be done surgically at some point, but not right away. And we have to keep an eagle's hawk view of our children, all children, doesn't matter what the fuck they're going through their teenage years. It is the most dangerous time for a child. It is the Bermuda Triangle of children, of teenage kids from the age of 12. Now it's more like 10 until they're about 18, 19 years old. We have to fucking take walks with them. We have to nurture them. We have to talk with them at dinner, on hikes, at movie theaters, playing board games. We have to force the issues of communication. We have to watch their favorite movies and understand why it's their favorite movies. Yes, that's what it is to have a child or two. Okay, we have to, or else you're going to lose your kid from self-harm and not know what the fuck happened. You won't know, and you should know. You should know. You should know their friends. You should know the parents of the friends. You should know where they live, how they live, if they're poor, if they're rich. You should know. And it's not because you're an asshole. It's because you give a shit about having a relationship with your kid. And when your kid's an adult, you still have one. And they'll thank you for it. They will thank you for it. Trust me. And that's something parents aren't doing. And so the kid will suddenly take their own lives, and parents are going, I don't understand. I don't understand. You have to be spiritually aware. If you are dogmatic on your religion, you are harming your children. I said it. That's it. I said it. Dogmatic people who hold on to their dogmatic religious belief are harming their children without even fucking knowing it. They're not even knowing it because the kid might be gay and he doesn't know how to tell mommy and daddy that he is gay at the age of 12. Usually kids know at the age of 4, 5. And they don't know how to have that discussion because, they're Amish or Mormon or whatever the hell they are, or Muslim or Jewish. They don't know how to say it. And you as parents are being asked to be massively fucking consciously expansive. You can pray to Buddha all the fucking day long. Go to Christ and do your little Ash Wednesday. I don't give a fuck, but you better be expansive if you're going to have children. Or else you are harming them without knowing it. And one day, I hope not, lights out and you'll go, what the fuck happened? Yeah, what the fuck did happen? Why didn't you see that coming? Why couldn't your kid tell you whatever the fuck they wanted to tell you about anything without you fucking losing your shit? Okay? So as parents, we are being asked in the 21st century to put our own dogmatic religious beliefs aside if we're going to raise consciously awakened children into fully formed adults who don't regret having been honest with us. We don't shame them. We don't belittle them. We don't name call them. We don't abuse them. We don't gaslight them. There are a lot of people that shouldn't be parents. Have you noticed? My list is long, isn't it? My demands are long. A lot of people shouldn't be parents. And that's the reality of where we live in now, because the kids being born today, the souls being born today, ancient starseeds coming in, they don't need all old, dogmatic, tired, narcissistic parents. They don't. And if you think you'll be estranged, trust me, as soon as they fucking can write their own name or get their own, they'll be gone. They will find a way to get the fuck out of your house. Because you're not safe. You're not a safe person. Be that lighthouse to your children. Be that supportive light for them. Non-judgment, unconditional. And we are being asked spiritually. This is why the twin flame thing is happening. Because your twin flame will do all kinds of fuckeries to you. Many people go, it's a codependent relationship. I've done videos on that and lives. I'm not going to go into it today. But the twin flame journey living an unforgivable act of betrayal and unconditionally loving that twin in spite of all that shit. And if you're a smart human being, you will realize in a moment going, oh my God, I can give that to my kids. Like I can, like my twins MIA, but I can give this kind of unconditional love because I just got taught how I can actually do this. I'm going to give it to my kids. Wow. I'm going to give it to my person, my parents. Wow. That's the magic of the twin flame journey that's not being talked about enough at all. So that was quite a circle of conversation, but I have to go. Hopefully this helped a little bit. And unfortunately, I wish my lives were a little more, I don't know, in one theme, but I can never. I'm more of a Gemini than even I fucking can understand. He sacrificed another children with his ex, so between the two, I'm sure there's fear. Absolutely. What about birth control for 11 and up to regulate period? I can't give you medical advice, but I find it interesting that you talk about birth control because I was never on it. I was losing my mind at the age of, how old was I? I think I was 21, and on the week 3, I stopped it. I was like, fuck this, I'm not doing that. And you should do some research as to the side effects of these things, because the side effects are very serious. They're very fucking serious. And do whatever the fuck you want, but having a bad period. It's funny you mentioned this. This is crazy. I hope you're still here, because I'm hopefully talking to you. Having a period at 11 is fucking young. I had mine at 12, but that was pretty young. But the pain of the periods are psychosomatic. It's root chakra work. Root sacral work. And it's probably, if I could tell my younger self anything about my periods that were I was in fucking pain. At 14, I was like madly in pain. And I would say it was from my my past lives abuses, if you will, or imbalances that have never been healed. And so I would say guided meditations for the root chakra and sacral chakra. I would say high frequency music. I would say turn off the fucking TV set. I would say that. I would say put beautiful imagery on screen. I would say books on tape that you listen to with your kid, magical things. I was just talking to my friend today about how there's not enough magic in children's lives. There's just not enough magic. I would say doing massages. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Massages, hot water bottles. I would say there's certain herbs like cramp bark. Cramp bark can be used for that. Raspberry tea, dong quai, aka angelica root, black cohosh. There's some kind of herbs. Look at it. Make your own concoction of tea or herbs that you can encapsulate, or tinctures, is what I would say. But we're always running to the fucking doctor with the pad who's on commission. It's like, I'm sorry. I don't care how nice the doctor is, okay? Research holistic hormonal detoxes and balance outside of pharma meds. I totally agree with that. The twin flame journey definitely taught me unconditional love. She changed the way I parent. No shit, exactly. I totally agree with that. Anything else? So yeah, we've gone through a full circle from Elon Musk being accused of, talking shit about... Now, did he? I don't know. I really don't know. But the whole premise for my doing this live wasn't about did he or didn't he. It was about, wait, hang on. We know that kids say shit that's completely unhinged on their own. They don't need anybody else to influence them. And some of it is very... it's based on energy, and they're picking up on a lot of energy, and more of these kids are coming through telepathically. These kids are being born being able to see auras. Number one, they can see auras. They can see energies that are attached to you. They don't have the words for it. They are telepathic. They can hear your thoughts. They can feel your thoughts. The first rise of these children coming in that could feel your thoughts were the kids in the autistic spectrum. From nonverbal, seriously neurologically damaged, okay, all the way to Asperger's with high IQs and brilliance, and they could walk into a room and lose their shit, and you go, wait a minute, what's going on? The teacher can't be bad, she's so nice, but the kid could feel the children's, the kid could feel the teacher's thoughts of anger or malevolence or whatever on it. It knew it was directed at it, the child, and it would lose its shit. And as a parent, I can tell you that I knew, because I'm a psychic myself in my own right, and I would have my antennas up, I would turn the fucking button on, because this was for my kid. And I knew at the table who was full of shit and who was real. I could tell immediately who my kid was connected to in a good way and it was real, and who was absolutely full of shit and who I had to watch. But most parents are not, because most parents are dropping off their kids. They're fucking overwhelmed. They're running back to work. Or there's some work they have to finish up at home. Can you fucking imagine? And their minds are up their ass. And it's not their fault. They're trying to survive. They're trying to keep the roof over their head, food on the table. And the survival level is so egregiously high that the parent can't even pick up on the energy of the kid. And so they throw pharma at the kid because shut the fuck up, I got shit to do. And I can't, even though the child is right about this particular educator, teacher, aide, whatever you want to call it. It's fucked up. It's a cycle that's been created by design to ruin one generation after another. And now you've got a whole bunch of people who are estranged from their kids and to be generation after another. And now you've got a whole bunch of people who are estranged from their kids. And to be fair, like I saw a video about last year of a woman. Like I saw a video about last year of a woman, clearly rich, clearly fucking windows up the ass, gorgeous house, probably one of these 4,000 square foot homes. You know what I'm saying? And she's sitting there going, what do I do? I'm like, she's sitting there with a little fucking kid on a high chair, staring at the kid going, what do I do? What do you do? I don't know. Take your kid outside in the sun. Plant some fucking roses. Plant some seeds. Go look for ladybugs and butterflies. Go by the river and look if you can see tadpoles or frogs or salamanders. Go to the fucking museum. Go to a toy store and don't buy shit. Just go visit it like it's a museum and have fun looking at toys. There's so many things you can do. Have a nice tea. Take your kid to the tea room. And it's 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon and take your kid for a tea. Have your kid have a memory of the tea cart being brought with the desserts or the little tea sandwiches or shit. There's so much shit you can do with a kid. I don't even understand how women who have money need nannies. Like, shame on fucking you if you need a nanny. You're a fucking asshole. You're going to breed act kids. You pop kids out and fucking hire nannies and an au pair. What the fuck's wrong with you? Why don't you get yourself, Anyway, it's like if you have the ability to fucking hands-on raise your kid, then your kid becomes your co-pilot and you go everywhere. You do all kinds of shit, all kinds of adventures. The kid's never too young to be on a plane. It's never too old. It's never too anything. Those are excuses from lazy parents. Like I said, my first trip, I was 2 months old. I was put in a cardboard box on a fucking airplane. I'm talking about one of these old 1950s aircrafts to Africa. They gave me the yellow fever vaccine and we were off and running back and forth to Africa. My memories of going to preschool in Africa, I have memories of being with all these African kids in a preschool. I have memories of my dad playing chess and me beating him. I probably didn't beat him. He probably let me win. In our house in Africa, in Accra, Ghana. I mean, I have memories. I'm probably 18 months old. I have memories of lizards on the hotel walls. I could give you memory after memory after memory of me in Africa at the age of 3. At that point, I'm 3. If you have money and you don't know what to do with your kid, you need help. You need help. There's something not right with you. Because whatever you want to do, you can take your kid to do it with you. And that will grow an intelligent, curious, irreverent, empathic child. Adult. Don't ever limit your kid's experience ever because you think they're too young, too immature. Nothing. That is one of the things I do like about Elon is that kid's growing up listening to all kinds of shit from all kinds of adults. But he needs to do better in raising him so he understands protocols. And yeah, it's never too young to teach a kid protocols. When we're here, this is not what you do. When we're there, fucking go wild. And that's something I'm going to be very blunt. Americans don't like to do. They don't want to give rules to kids. And the reason why you want to give rules to kids is that when they're adults, they know how to play the game. Yeah, because the world is a game, and you better learn the rules so that you can actually outplay people, hack them, hack yourself into positions so your kid can win. Your adult kid can win. If you want your kid to lose, then do what you've been doing. Do the same shit every other parent is doing. Lazy parents. Do nothing. Teach them nothing. But when you teach your kids certain aspects of life, they will be able to maneuver and they will be as comfortable with multimillionaires and have enough knowledge to be interesting to stay in those conversations with multimillionaires. I'm talking about billionaires. To be as comfortable with them as a homeless person on the street having different conversations. And to grow a good human being, in my humble opinion, and this is my humble opinion, you need to teach your kids protocols so that they're comfortable in any situation. They're like a chameleon. And they're comfortable in any situation. And that means the only way a kid can become that is the kid needs to be socialized and be exposed to all kinds of situations. And it will just become part of their norm. And that's my humble opinion. And I think that's why I personally, believe me, I have a lot of deficits, don't get me wrong. But the first 14 years of my life, I experienced shit that most adults have never experienced. I've been in situations, I've seen shit, both ugly and beautiful, that most adults in their 30s and 40s and 50s have never experienced by the time I was 14. So if you're thinking about not traveling because your kid is X, Y, and Z, and it's, well, I don't want to pull him out of school, and I just want school? Who gives a fuck about school? School is life. School is the world. You can, in fact, you're probably a better teacher than most teachers your kid will ever have. In my whole entire education, I can name you 3 teachers. 3, only 3 in the first 25 years of my education. That's it, 3. That's not enough, I'm sorry, to say, let me just, keep sending my kid to the same fucking system. That's not enough. And each 3 were in different parts of the world. And one of them was the most important one because she taught me how to write short stories. The second one also taught me how to write short stories. Both of them were women. And one of them was in college, was a man in a comparative religion, just so you know. But it's still not enough to allow yourself to believe that you sending them, and you sitting right here in California or New York or Massachusetts, just staying right there in that school system, right there. I just can't move until they graduate, all that. I hear people saying that all the time, like they're doing something fabulous. When, to be honest with you, the best thing they could do is take the kid to Hong Kong or Japan or England or France or Australia. Best thing. And maybe homeschool them and do it your own way. And get a math, if you're not into math, then get yourself a math tutor. Get the math handled by someone else, do the rest. That's what I did. And it worked out perfect. And we were not made out of money. So these are all tips. I hope they help. I just joined Girl Scouts with my oldest, and the amount of parents that do not give a fuck is heartbreaking. No, actually, it's not, I'm not surprised. I had 4 girls now hug me, smooch me on the cheek, all because they needed an adult to talk to. Yeah, Rachel, and God bless you for doing this. I'm not surprised. That's why these people saying, "Oh, I'm estranged." I'm like, "What? Estranged? What did you do? Were you so busy taking them to ballet, hockey games, this, that, the other? Like every fucking day, you had them in some kind of something, or you kept them at after school programs until you picked them up at 7 or 8. You're fucking exhausted. They're fucking exhausted. You're microwaving your meals. Or you're just giving them to bathe, and now you're gonna have to fucking pour over the homework, and it gets done or half-assed done, or what the fuck are parents doing? And it has a lot to do with the infrastructure, my friends. It's many of you, it's not your fault. It's the infrastructure that people like me, Rachel, and other people are trying to smash the walls into 5D. We're trying to get us all out of fucking here into 5D, the new earth, where none of this shit will be important anymore. Are there Birkin bags in 5D? Probably not. Are they Rolex watches in 5D? People will look at the Rolex watch going, well, what's that for? What, I'm sorry, it's what? It's a $50,000 watch? We don't need that. I can look at the sky. I have a watch I built myself. It's right here. I've used quartz crystals. It's right here. I made it with sterling silver. I did it myself. That's the world I'm looking for. What world are you looking for yourself, your children, and your whole lineage? What are you looking for? What do you want? Do you really want those private jets? Or do you want us to go and understand how to use portals to move from one continent to another? That's the question. And if your monkey mind is in 3D logic going, that's just impossible, then you need to actually hack out of your monkey mind. That probably will be the first thing you need to do before you can even imagine a 5D new planet. All right. Sending you much love on your journey. See if I can upload this on YouTube. If you missed any part of it, thank you, Rachel, for sharing your wisdom. Always beautiful to hear what you're doing. And it is heartbreaking. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Namaste. Be well.